disease since I was 7 years old. It all started one day in 2nd grade when I was at the doctor's office. The doctor who sees my brother and me was saying how she thought we had celiac. Celiac, or celiac disease, is when you can't have gluten, which is a protein found in wheat, rye, barley, and malt. I was starting to get worried. I could feel my heart thumping in my chest. I found out that gluten was in a lot of my favorite foods, and as the doctor was saying to my mom, celiac is something you couldn't grow out of like you could with an allergy. So my parents scheduled us to get our blood drawn to see if we had it. Finally, sometime in the winter, they got the results back saying that we did. There were some things that I had never really thought about that I soon realized were going to be a challenge. For example, my lunches. They would have to be packed differently. Kids at school or other places would sometimes make fun of my food because it looked different or to them disgusting. Ew, what is that? Does your mom make you eat that? They would say. They weren't necessarily trying to be mean or hurt my feelings, but it didn't really feel good. Birthday parties were hard. I was invited to go to one and I really wanted to go. There was only one problem. All the food there had gluten in it. Mom said I could bring something else that was gluten-free, but what if someone made fun of me, I thought. I didn't want anybody to see my food, so I hid it under the table the whole time. Going out to eat was hard because I couldn't go to my favorite places anymore like Wendy's. But then I tried thinking from a different perspective. I realized that celiac isn't a reason for me to be afraid or hide my food, that I could be bold and just face things. One thing that helped me start thinking differently was when I went to a children's hospital event where I learned a lot about celiac. For example, I learned that your small intestine is lined with tiny finger-shaped tissues called villi. If a person who has celiac disease eats gluten, the villi then flatten out and the intestinal lining is damaged. When this happens, it decreases the area that can absorb nutrients. Now, after learning about my problem, I started taking little steps towards feeling comfortable with it. My family started finding gluten-free recipes, some from friends, some that we had found, and some that were naturally gluten-free, that we had already had. I found that when you have a problem, getting support can help you a lot. And for me, that meant meeting other people who had had celiac disease and knew how that could be a big change. For example, our friend Lindsay. She gave us kitchen supplies that had never been contaminated with gluten and foods we could eat. Now, after all this, I celebrate that I have celiac and that I eat different foods. Celiac doesn't feel like a disease, it's just me. Have you ever hidden away from something? I'm assuming that if I asked everybody in this room, you would probably all be saying yes. That's why I think this lesson is important for everyone. If you ever find yourself in one of those situations, you can try using some of the things I used to help me to be bold and just face things. I learned more about my problem. I took little steps towards feeling comfortable with it. I got some support, and finally, I celebrated it. Here's a quote I would like to share with you from Nadia Comaneci, a 5-time Olympic gold medalist who was only 15 when she won her first medal. I don't run away from a challenge because I'm afraid. Instead, I run towards it. Thank you for listening.